I was asked to do a quick little segment about infrared vision. This is actually covered elsewhere on the internet. I haven't seen the articles myself, but I've been told about them. Basically, this is just a modification you can do to any CCD camera so it can pick up the infrared spectrum. CCD stands for Charged Coupled Device. You might be saying, where am I going to get a CCD camera? Well, a CCD is in every single digital camera, so it doesn't matter a webcam. This over here is actually one of my X10 cameras that I've decided to rip apart because I wanted the 2.4 gigahertz transmitter, which we won't get into today. Don't worry about the awkward wiring. Just forget that exists. This camera's actually been pre-hacked. All you really have to do is get a digital camera of any kind, a webcam. If you're familiar with the decoded digital disposable cameras, the disposable digital cameras, even your camera phone, every single camera that's digital or electric is a CCD. Modding, it's pretty simple. All you really do is you open the camera up and you get into the creamy insides. And there's going to be a lens unit that you have to take apart. You have to be kind of careful so you don't damage it. Okay? Once you get inside, there's going to be a small piece of filtered glass that's going to allow you to, once you remove it, it's going to allow you to see the infrared spectrum. Okay? Here is the actual unit I'm talking about. What you have to do is, there's small screws on it. When you pull it out, there's going to be a small little piece of polarized glass. I'll put a screenshot up because this is, well, one, it's already been removed from this one, and two, the lighting in here sucks so much you're not going to be able to see it if it was in there. Once you remove it, all that little piece of glass does is filter out the infrared spectrum, so it blocks out infrared. So once you remove it, you re-enable the natural abilities of that CCD camera, which can see infrared. Now, if you want only infrared vision, you don't want standard vision as well, because your colors are going to be all screwed up. Everything's going to be washed out in green and orange, and you're not going to have blues anymore. If you want just infrared vision, go get an old negative from Photograph. Like, you know, when you get your actual, like, photos developed, it comes with a negative. Take a piece of negative and replace that inside here. What it does is it'll block out all the ambient light, but it still allows in infrared. Now, I'm going to go and piece this thing together. Keeping in mind, all you do is you take your camera apart, remove this unit. There's usually 2, 3, or 4 little screws holding it on. You pull it out, and then you just pop off the polarized filter. Then put everything back together. And this is what I want to explain, is hooking everything up. So I'm going to go and put this camera back together, and I'll get into how to actually hook everything up. Alright, here's some of the junk that I use. Yeah, Game Boy SP. What I have is a cartridge that allows me to have video inputs. Well, it's not the best screen in the world, but we need something small and portable, or what I would consider an LCD or a display beige box, really good for when you find those video surveillance patch boxes with a set of, well, the equivalent of a beige box clip hooked into your video. You can actually tap into video feeds. Also over here I have a portable screen for the GameCube. You can also get one for the Xbox or PlayStation 1. They're essentially all the same screen. Got some battery packs and hookup cables. Some quick side notes. Ground in most of these devices over here are tied together, which means the ground for the video, audio, and power are all the same wire. So when you go and take your camera apart, if you only notice one black wire as ground, then it's most likely going to be the ground for audio and the ground for video as well. Also said for the screen, also said for, well, almost all electronics nowadays. When you power your camera, make sure you test the voltage of the original power source. The original power source to this thing is 12 volts. However, the camera itself only requires no more than 9. So it can actually run off of 7.5. That's also said for this screen. This screen does not like to be run off of anything greater than 8.5 volts. It's normally 7.5, but you can draw, I think, down to 6.8. I'm not sure, I forget. The Game Boy, really, it's just plug and play. You know, really can't mess it up. I've got an awkward cabling system here because I like modular design. I like to use my Game Boy screen, my PlayStation 1 screen, and my battery packs for an array of projects, so bear with me. Okay, so I have an adapter here from my modded screen which allows video input and power input. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to power up my screen. Okay. Here we go. Screen's powered up. Okay. Using this separate battery, I'm going to power up the screen. The camera. Power up the camera. And then using a standard hookup cable, I'm going to plug this into my screen. And there we go. Say hello to the camera. Now there's a little knob here that you can use to focus. There we go. Now if you notice, the colors are all kind of weird. Like I said, you know, your reds and your blues and your greens are all going to be washed away because you're now infrared. Now I'm going to go and grab my remote control that I use for my camera. See? Now you're picking up infrared clear as day. Well, I really should hit the lights in the room and turn off everything and show you. Oh, I broke something. There we go. We all remember this. This is my all-in-one remote control for the house. I use this in my JP1 as well. Alright, let's... What button? Mute. Mute. There it is. Mute. Alright. There we go. See how we can now see the... Come on, you... Work! Well, you get the point with that one. Let me go and fire up my lights again, because I'm pretty sure you can't see a damn thing. There. I'll show you on the Game Boy. Hopefully you get a little bit better of a picture. Let's see. Video, video, video. There we go. Video. There we go. Video. We can make a craptastic night vision system using a Game Boy and a modded camera. For the sake of perspective and clarity, let me give you an alternate angle of what just went on here, okay? If you can't get yourself a cartridge for your Game Boy Advance as a screen, okay, that's cool. They're kind of hard to get. If you can't go and get yourself a game screen, like a PlayStation 1, or this is actually made by Verge Incorporated, if you can't get yourself one of these, oh, okay, you know, they are kind of hard to get. If you're really lucky, you can get yourself a composite VR glasses, which this, coupled with a whole bunch of infrared LEDs, you got yourself some ghetto-tastic night vision. But pretty much anywhere you go, you can get yourself a 5-inch black and white CRT for about $20 to $25. I know it's big, it's bulky, it's cumbersome, but it's a screen, it's cheap, they're kind of easy to get, they're reliable, however they're power hogs. This thing usually takes up about 1.5 amps of power, so I hope you got a wet cell around. Okay, just for a little bit more clarity on batteries, okay, this camera can take up to 12 volts, but it really wants 7.5. This is a 7.5 volt remote control car battery. These are NiCad batteries, as are these. 9.6 volts, 1,600 milliamps, 7.5 volts, 3,300 milliamps. The milliamps, or the amperage, is how long it's going to last, divided by, or multiplied, whatever, by how much current draw. Okay, example, if this screen takes up 1 amp, this battery will power it for 3.3 hours. You got 3.3 amps, 1 amp screen, do the math. Okay. When it comes to amperage, you can never have too much when it comes to the rechargeable batteries. The reason I don't use this battery anymore, because I actually designed a voltage regulator for the screen with using this battery. This screen, in fact, is almost a 1 amp screen, so this battery only powers it for maybe about 1 hour 45 minutes. That, coupled with or attached to the camera and attached to an infrared LED array, my night vision didn't last me too long. As for the night vision, or the infrared vision, infrared LEDs are usually low power. All the stuff you get in like infrared remote controls like so are relatively low power. What you can do is you can get a whole bunch of them, line them up in series, and then power them with one of these batteries, and use a magnifying lens. Standard, you know, you can go and get one for like $1.50 at a local thrift store, just a magnifying lens, and you can focus that beam of light so it covers directly in front of you instead of like all around you, because you don't need to see behind you. You don't need to see 180 degrees to the left, 180 degrees to the right, because the camera only usually has about anywhere from 60 to 120 degrees on a viewing angle, which means it can't see stuff that's over here and over here. The viewing angle goes out like a cone, like that. So there's no point to illuminate behind you and on the sides of you with infrared. So using a magnifying lens, you can focus that beam to spotlight a specific area that is tuned to the viewing angle of your camera. I mean, it sounds really complicated, but it's not. Grab a camera, pop it open. When you are opening up electronics like the screens and the cameras, if you can't find screws, oftentimes they're hidden under labels, or they might have pop tabs. Try not to use a metal screwdriver to pry it open, because you put mars and marks in the seams and creases, and it just looks like crap. And especially if you break something and it's under warranty, you can't return it, because if they look at it and go, well, you know, it looks like you wedged a butter knife under this thing and pried it apart when the screws are blatantly, you know, visible right there. No, we can't take it back. So you take your camera apart, you remove the infrared, you know, filter. You go and make an infrared lamp out of infrared LEDs and some batteries. Get yourself a screen of some sort. It could be either a CRT, LCD, Game Boy Advance. Hell, even if you got one of them, I think it was a Sega Nomad, I think it was called, where it actually had a TV tuner. Yeah, you might be able to mod that to be a screen. Who knows? There's a whole bunch of solutions you can use. Wire it together with some batteries. It's pretty simple, keeping in mind that, really, do not plug your power source into your video input line. You will blow out your screen. That actually happened to this screen at one point when my friend decided to pretend he knew what he was doing and wire one of my video receivers into it backwards. So not only did he wire the power into the video input, he wired it backwards into the video input. And no joke when I say this screen got nuked. Smoke was bellowing out of it. So really, it's not that hard. As for screens though, I plan on doing a couple more projects that do involve screens, so if you want to go and invest in one, this cartridge cost me about $25. The CRT I have on the floor cost about $25. However, the CRT on the floor has better quality than the Game Boy. The LCD on sale was about $50, but you can get them on eBay for about $30, $35. You can get them broken for about $15, and those things are damn near indestructible. It's been nuked, it's been dropped, it's been fried, it's been shorted, it's been blown out. Voltage and amperage has been jacked up way too high. I can't break that screen. I love it. I wish I can get another one. And the VR glasses, I think they cost me $125 after rebates, discontinued. So don't ask me where I got them, because they were clearance. They were really walked in, got them, said, that's it. Last pair. Yeah, I'll put some show notes up. You know, if you got any questions on how to wire this stuff up, I mean, it's really simple. You know, tie your positive leads together, tie your negative leads together. You know, wire your camera's signal into a screen. You're pretty much done. I mean, I'm making it sound a whole lot harder than it really is. So, if you have any questions or comments, hit the forums, hit the show notes, contact me on IRC if need be. I'll help you out. And you know what? Have fun. Good luck. Don't blow anything up, will you?